Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I am here to finally talk about the brand new Superman movie. Then I really wish I had some Superman apparel to wear, but I got the next best thing. Goku jacket, baby! So, yeah, this is a brand new Superman movie, and it is not only the latest iteration of one of the pinnacle characters of all of Western literature. This is also a kickoff for the new DC Cinematic Universe, headed by one James Gunn, a director who was on the come up with his in the trauma entertainment with really profane and gross, goofy creature features like Slither, but also really showed his worth as honestly, one of the best filmmakers of the comic book genre. I really think next to Sam Raimi, James Gunn best understands not only the appeal of comic book characters, but understands very well how to adapt them to the medium of film. Especially apparent with his Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Especially like 2 and 3, he really figured out a way how to make those like nice splash page kind of visuals. Also we can't forget his work in the Suicide Squad, which the Suicide Squad movie that's actually good. And then he's basically running all of DC Entertainment, at least as far as like the cinematic universe stuff goes. He's the DC's Kevin Feige now, but now we have him directing a Superman movie, which there's a lot riding on this. Not because, like I said, one of the greatest, most iconic characters of all of Western canon. And there's a lot riding it because of the cinematic universe element of it, and there's also like expectations due to like the last time we got a Superman on screen, with Zack Snyder's very dour, very grandeur, but honestly, frankly, boring stuff he was doing with his Superman and his Justice League stuff. Which, to be fair, there is some like interesting stuff going on with that, but the like online cult stuff the borderline cult stuff, like thinking that is happening with the Snyder Cut. To this day, there are people still waging that war for like restoring the Snyderverse. It's embarrassing. There's a lot of noise there, but even beside all that, we have a new Superman, and I love this. This was fantastic. I loved this so much. My face hurts so much from smiling at this. I had an absolute joy, and I just felt so relieved and so happy and so revitalized. I am hope maxing from this movie. So, yeah, just man, this was exactly what I needed right at the right time. And it's also the kind of comic book movie that I've been wanting for years. It fully embraces the feeling of being a wacky comic book movie, and never once feels or acts embarrassed about being that. Like, for too long, like especially in recent years, the MCU having monopolized basically the entire superhero comic book genre. It has really been so stuck with this irony poisoned attitude about like, hey, isn't this capeshit kind of silly? And like, well, if you think it's silly, why should I think that what you're doing with it is cool or interesting? But no, this is a movie that is just so hard on its sleeve, unabashedly silly. Like, it's a movie that prominently features Krypto the Superdog, and never once raises an eyebrow at like, oh, you got a flying dog with a cape on it? That's stupid. But no, it knows that you're here for stuff like that, and it's here for that too. And I think what's also really clever about it is the way that it sort of brings you in the universe. Because since it is a Superman movie, it foregoes basically any and all origin retelling. it's Superman. Like, it knows that you know what the origin is. You get the gist of it. It's Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. You come into the world knowing those origins. So yeah, Superman. There's a man. Superman. Field reporter Clark Kent. Lois Lane is in love. Lex Luthor, he hates him and he's evil. And superhero stuff. Even with that, that core cast of characters, honestly, the whole cast, top to bottom, is phenomenal. Like, let's talk about the Boy Scout himself, Superman. Here, played by David Corenswet, a guy who I didn't really know much at all, but really had big boots to fill because, well, as far as movie Superman goes, the shadow of Christopher Reeve's performance from the original Superman movie from the 1970s, it casts far and wide into the horizon. Then it is the one. He is the. If you haven't seen it in a while, which you really probably should go back, it still holds up most of the way, and it holds up mostly because of his performance. It's just so pitch perfect. It gets both Superman and the Clark Kent personas so well. But Corenswet, I think, absolutely embodies Superman so well. But hell, not just in like the general attitude of like how friendly he is, and how sort of golly gee gosh darn he gets. But also, I think what's fun about his Superman is that he gets kind of still feels kind of new at this. Like it opens with like a little title sort of title crawl where it explains that he's only been like openly Superman for like 3 years or so. So he still feels kind of new to like how he should fit into this world. But the way, and I think what's interesting, and I think what's fun about him is that he does get kind of he still feels a little immature, but not edgy. There's a really great scene where Lois Lane, played here by Rachel Brosnahan, wonderfully. I think she's a great Lois. You have a Lois interviewing him with and she's kind of really grilling him about did you not think about the because there's a preceding event where he intervened with legally distinct Israel-Palestine conflict, where and she's like grilling him. Didn't you think of like the political ramifications? Did you not think about it? But he gets kind of huffy and defensive about him, about his actions. Like, no, I didn't matter. I wasn't representing anybody. I was just saving people because saving people is good. And I really love that. That feels it's in a way that feels very human. I think it's always, I always love it when Superman, the Superman iterations that really just full on embrace that he is a human, that yeah, he is an alien, and this movie doesn't shy away from the fact that he is a foreign alien, an immigrant, but he is as human as anyone else, and he's human mostly in fact because of like the way he was raised by the Kents, which, by the way, the scene with the Kents here honestly just tugged at my heartstrings, almost pulled the tears out of me. But there's so much. But and to continue on with the casting, like we get the big bad villain Lex Luthor, who he's played by Nicholas Hoult, and this is an amazing Luthor. This Luthor like hates Superman. Like, I feel like, honestly, as far as like Superman iterations go, I honestly feel spoiled for having grown up watching the animated Superman show with the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm Superman, and of course the Justice League show that came from that too. But that Superman, that Lex Luthor, those are even that Lois Lane, that's my standard. But this Luthor, this Luthor is a piece of shit. He hates Superman so much, and the lengths he goes to in trying to kill Superman, trying to stop this guy from doing what he does, and the pettiness he gets, the immaturity he gets. It's everything Luthor, and he's so much fun as Luthor, and he's so in tune with like what the character is. He embraces the fact this is a villain. This is a villain that is evil and likes being evil. It's not like, feels refreshing that we have just a pure good hero and a naive but still good hero and an unrepentantly evil bastard of a villain. Like you're not gonna get any like sob story with Luthor. No, he's Lex Luthor. He hates Superman, and I have a feeling that this Lex Luthor is also gonna be present in like a future movie. But that'd be fun to see, honestly. But yeah, and also amongst the cast is the Justice Gang, this sort of proto-Justice League group. There's Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner of the Green Lantern, who's just a real douchebag with his smarmy attitude and his stupid bowl cut. There's there's a Hawk Girl played by Isabela Merced, and there's Mr. Terrific, a real scene stealer dude, who's played by Edie Gathegi, who you might recognize as Darwin from X-Men First Class from way back when. Darwin, the character who can survive anything and then dies for no reason at all. First Class sucks. I don't get people defending that movie. But anyway, he made a very what's the word? I don't know. A very redeeming a very redeeming performance as Mr. Terrific. He's super cool, really fun stuff. And also there's Krypto the Superdog, and he's absolutely unruly and kind of a little shit, but he's so cute. He's such a good boy. I want to pet his scruffy little head. And it does a bunch of like operates a lot in like these vintage splash. It casts all of these characters and all of these big performances across these wonderfully fun and wild, colorful vintage splash page imagery. That honestly, I've heard some complaints about the visuals, but like honestly, they really worked for me. I really like that. There are certainly choices made in some of the shot compositions, but I honestly really liked I really dug into the kind of like very weird, the sort of oddballness of it, because I really like the fact that we're getting this kind of big summer blockbuster, this very IP driven comic book movie that still feels it has a director's artist's voice behind it. And how can you not? If you're going to make something like a Superman movie, why would you not put yourself a little into it? And I would say, as far as criticisms go, it definitely, I wouldn't say it's overstuffed, but it does feel a bit messy, especially like the first third. Like it is definitely throwing a lot at you. And while as much as it does trust the audience to play catch up, it really recreates the feeling of getting into a comic book, but it's not issue number 1. It's like issue 3.5 or something, and you're just kind of like picking up the greater details of what's already been set up. But what I really love is that it can, and while it can get a little jumpy, especially in like some of the tone that it's doing, because like it'll like shift rapidly from doing some like workplace screwball romance with like Clark and Lois and the Daily Planet, and then it'll do like some sort of rousing spirited adventure with Luthor's planning and Superman interacting with the other metahumans, and it'll even do like just Saturday morning cartoon mayhem, like Superman fights a kaiju. But even amidst that, while he's fighting this big monster, he's still trying to do things his way. He's trying to avoid mass casualties. He's saving people left and right. He saves a squirrel. Like that's Superman. And another thing I would say is it's probably not a deal breaker for me, but it is kind of a bit of a bug I had with it. I could have used more of Superman, like just sort of saving the day on his own, because and what I mean by that is that this movie does a lot to like really humanize and sort of like put Superman on the back foot, which I think is very needed in terms of like, you know, the way that Superman is sort of characterized as this like insurmountable Ubermensch, and yeah, he is an Ubermensch, but they're very unstoppable, and that tends to make him boring because, you know, he just flies in and punches stuff. But the way that he's challenged physically and sort of, and even in terms of like challenge with his character, it still has this. It still does, and while it does a good job of like, you know, giving him some physical feats and sort of adversaries to face with, it never feels quite like he's you know, sort of like never quite feels like he's rising to the moment by himself, you know, like, and I like that, and like sometimes it can feel like Superman and friends, and while I like those friends and I like Superman, I do kind of think that they could have used some more of that, just like Superman just being that big champion beacon in the sky. Like at times this kind of remind me of like the first season of the Justice League cartoon, where Superman was like constantly, you know, sort of like getting thrown into fights and losing them somehow. But I do like how humanizing he felt. Like it's like, and like it's kind of that give and take of like sort of like dropping in medias res, where like or like that sort of give and take of like understanding the audience general knowledge of the character, where like, yeah, like, yes, James Gunn knows that we know what Superman is generally about, you know, stand, you know, the way he would like stand, you know, like stand very proudly with his cape billowing into the wind, and like, you know, just say, you know, saving, being a hero, you know, stopping baddies and all that stuff. But we also do kind of want to see that, right? But that's mostly just sort of sides. Again, it's not so much a deal breaker for me, but it does kind of feels like a place where, like, you know, the follow-ups could improve, and this movie does give you a lot to really want to see more. But this movie really did leave me wanting more in the best way. Like I just wanted. This movie's like a good like 2 hours and some change. It flies by at a speed. And I just wanted more of this stuff. I wanted more of like the Daily Planet stuff with like Clark, you know, him disguised as Clark Kent. I wanted more of like this stuff with Jimmy Olsen in this. I wanted more of like just following Lex being an absolute bastard. I just wanted more. I of course wanted more Krypto. I can't go more wrong with more Krypto. I wanted also more. I also like what the stuff he was doing with like implied with like the L's and like you know, the House of L, I should say, and his Kryptonian heritage, and like how that feeds into like his place as like a symbol of humanity. And it's this movie has so like even amidst some of the mess and its wackiness that might not win everyone over, but like at its absolute best moments, this gives you the kind of hope and good feelings and sincerity that is exactly what I wanted out of the character and exactly what I needed. Like, when I think of Superman, I judge all Superman with the question, would the Iron Giant want to be him? Absolutely, the Iron Giant would want to be this Superman. And I love this. I had an absolute blast. It rouses the human spirit within me. I felt them. I almost cried with a few scenes, both with the Kens and something that really really hits home almost way too close to home. It just, I'm just so happy. I'm so relieved that this movie is as good as it is, because it's just a good feeling. And yeah, this is a Superman. It feels like we have a friend back, and yeah, I think that'll be all I can really say without getting too deep into spoilers. But yeah, you should really see this movie. I really need to see this again. Yeah, this is major. This is some grade A cape shit, and love this. I don't think this is like my blockbuster of the year thus far. Like, Sinners is still great, and I think I might like 28 Years Later a little bit more, because I was not expected to be hit quite like that. But this absolutely is a winner. This is. I look forward to what James Gunn does next, both with this world and with Superman. He better do Brainiac. I've been demanding a Brainiac with a Superman versus Brainiac movie for 20 years, damn it. But yeah, love this. Love David Corenswet. God, I just want to give this Superman a hug. I really need this. And I am feeling nothing less than a strong 8 for this Superman. And yeah, can't say any more about this. And I think that's where I'll leave you. Like I said, looking forward to see what else James Gunn has in store for us. I'm feeling really good. The hope is back. I'm feeling really energized from this. And what's your favorite Superman? Like, my favorite is still, of course, the animated Superman. That one is really tough to beat. But yeah, Corenswet. Yeah, this is a great Superman. Loved it. Also love the suit, love the cape, love the trunks. I'm a Trunks believer from day one. And yeah, that'll be it for me. I'm Zach. I like movies. I have a lot more movies to watch, and I got a lot more hope in me now. And I hope that you do too. So hope's a beautiful thing. Hope is punk rock. And I will see you all next time. You take care of yourselves.